Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Block Bytes. And it is Monday, time for our weekly technical analysis. We are joined by Vicky, and he will present to us what has happened so far and how the charts look like since the last big movement up and what's going to happen in this week, in the coming week. So welcome, Vicky.
How are you?
Not bad. Go ahead, Vicky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. Yeah. So this is the Bitcoin chart, like you can see clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You can clearly see that like nothing has happened literally over the last week.
Right.
So this was the range. We were ranging actually in this area, and then of course we had a big pump, and now we are right here. In the last week, nothing much has happened. This is last week's candle.
Right.
And it kind of looks like a big sized doji. A doji candle thing, but it could sign reversals basically, but
Okay.
not all the times. Not all the times. It basically tells you the fight between the bulls and bears, how bulls and bears fared last week.
Right.
If you could see, bulls were, this was the last week's opening price was around 34,525, and it came down. The bulls started pushing it up till here, and then till this point, and then the bears were able to push it down again to this point.
Okay.
So it kind of tells you that bears are kind of in control.
Right.
Because this is all about last week. This week the narrative is different. The deadline is approaching for the spot Bitcoin ETF. The second deadline, I think, it's approaching.
Right.
So these are factors to consider. Apart from that, I kind of think that we have topped in the sense like we will be topping soon. This is on the shorter time frames. This is what we can see, that Bitcoin is kind of forming what is called a bear flag. This is a bear flag actually. This is a bear flag. The bear flag is basically something that if it's basically a bear flag, it's called for a reason. This is how bear flag looks. Once the pattern starts playing out, what happens is, once this trend line is lost, then we could see a proper downward trend, a proper dump actually.
Okay.
So what I'm expecting this week, and from other factors that I've observed, other indicators observed, this is probably going to go to this 36K.
Right.
Somewhere here, probably Wednesday, maybe, because Wednesdays are usually green days, so probably Wednesday is going to go here. And after touching the 36.5K region, it is probably marked the top for 2023 and then kind of come down.
Interesting.
Now on higher time frames, what should be noticed is that, again, like last week we discussed Wyckoff distribution, right, sir?
Right.
I told you that this is the first level, this is the second one, and this is the upthrust. Where this is actually how things usually play out is this is something called as a third wave, and this is the fifth wave. Usually what happens is that after this retest point, this point I'm talking about, this you can see here, no, sir? After this retest, generally the price tends to go lower. Generally. Why I'm saying this, you can see that this has happened here also. You could see something of this fractal being played here. You see this fractal, sir, on a smaller scale. This has played out a larger time scale. See, it has formed like something like this, third wave, the fifth wave.
Right.
And after it broke down, it kind of retested here as well as it retested here. It didn't go for a proper upthrust.
Correct.
So the same thing has happened here. That is why many people, including myself, have opened shorts here.
Okay.
As soon as price came back up to this region, those that manage risk actually closed their positions. But those that didn't manage and the confident in their shorts didn't close it and were obviously the price moved higher, squeezing them out. That is why you could see that upthrust here.
Interesting.
And now So, and now what is happening here is obviously this is going to come down.
Right.
I could show an earlier example that played earlier. Last week, did we discuss Litecoin chart, sir? I'm not sure.
No, we did not.
Now, you just have to remember this pattern, and you could see how this played out very well in the Litecoin chart.
Okay. Right. Right. Now, just a quick question here. The fact
Yes.
that you were comparing Bitcoin and Litecoin charts, is it more to do with the technical structure being in common?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Bitcoin usually follows Litecoin.
Bitcoin usually follows Litecoin. Okay.
Litecoin in the halving years.
Okay.
So Litecoin had its own halving event this year.
Okay.
And you could clearly see how this has happened here as well. For example, yes. Can you see, sir? I think from this itself, I think the pattern can be seen clearly.
No, I can. It's clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So what has happened was Litecoin having happened in the month of August. August is somewhere here. It's starting here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Litecoin having actually started here. Actually was executed done here. This place.
Okay.
This place where Litecoin having actually happened. But you look at it, it was front run. The same pattern of Bitcoin kind of repeated. There was an upthrust here. It kind of made people believe that we are going to have a rally before the halving. But what happened was it kind of topped 2 months before the halving. Now, in Bitcoin's case, it's definitely not the halving that is going to affect here. It is probably the spot Bitcoin ETF coming up in January. So everyone knows that people are going to bet on that and then try to, place take long positions.
Right.
So the market makers or the big players are aware of this, and they're going to actually do what they're going to do is actually dump the price. That is front run them.
Okay.
So this is from the structure point of view. In the halving years, I'm saying this actually. This pattern, whatever pattern I'm saying, is evident across. It is evident across, so many other tokens right now. If you look at TRB, for example, TRB is an infamous coin. Actually, infamous in the sense, the last 3 months, it kind of made 10x.
Okay.
And the only reason for TRB was the people are continuously shorting it. They shorted it here, they shorted it here, they shorted it. This was the only reason for the rally. Nothing else actually. And if you look at it here also the pattern is kind of playing right now. It's right now it's playing.
Right.
Look at this.
Similar, yeah. It's got the same doji thingy.
Yes. Now this still has some more place to go. This is probably around 140, 150 region. This will top out. Now this is actually classical distribution pattern basically, because they're distributed, and once the distribution is done, expect people to short it here. That short, what will happen is the short squeeze will happen, push the price up here, and here is where the top is formed. Okay. For TRB also it is going to happen. The same thing.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I just want to go back to that comment you made about Bitcoin and the prices will be dumped by the whales or the institutional before the halving, right? That is what you said.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the general thesis is that if that is the reason why it will play down and it will go down till the halving.
Yes, in my opinion, the BlackRock narrative is being actually played out. They're clearly playing it out. Whoever wants to, sell Bitcoin and buy back at a lower price, mostly, sophisticated players of the market, they know that this narrative, because it's very, very difficult to actually sell a huge quantity of BTC. Correct. Because the demand, someone has to buy those BTC. Right. So, for example, if I'm say 1,000 or 1 BTC, it's easy to sell because there are people buying it. But if someone with a huge pile of BTC, Bitcoin, especially the whales, the OG whales who know how the Bitcoin market moves. And they want to unload, say, for example, tens and millions of, not millions actually, tens of thousands, like in the thousands, say 10,000 or even 50,000 BTC. If they want to unload it and buy back at a lower price, the only way they can do it is look for some narrative where people tend to believe that price is going to rise, and then they start buying. That will create them the demand to sell them.
Okay, sell at higher prices because of the narrative playing out.
Say, for example, if a whale owns 50,000 BTC or 1 lakh BTC, it's difficult to sell it in the market. The demand has to be there. Someone has to be willing to buy at that price.
Correct.
And that kind of a demand can come only from news like this, BlackRock news, this thing. That is why it is called sell the news event. During these times, people tend to believe that Bitcoin is going to go up in price and thereby try to buy Bitcoin. And this is an opportunity for big players to actually dump it on them.
Okay.
In most cases, this tends to be market makers. The big market makers, they make the markets, and they, of course, that's why they're called market makers. And they used to do this and buy back at a lower price.
Correct. So buyback at the lower price would be what, before the halving or right after the halving? Whenever would that be? Any idea?
I think there are two issues at hand. That's what I wanted to discuss. If you go to the Ethereum chart, I'll tell you what is going to happen.
Fair point. Okay.
Because Bitcoin chart is one thing, Ethereum chart can actually is giving a lot of insights from the open interest point of view.
Okay.
We'll go to Ethereum chart directly, sir.
Sure.
This is the Ethereum chart, sir. I have no problem with this. We need not give the here. What is more important is what is below. This is the open interest pattern.
Okay.
Yes. What is concerning for me here is this is kind of sounding like a black swan is awaiting, or something like, I don't know, like this is for people who are not in TA, this might not be easy to explain, but what I'm saying is this is some pattern. This is a typical pattern, something called as a head and shoulders pattern, where this part, I'll zoom it out, where this part is the head and this part is the shoulder. It is now kind of going to play out.
Okay.
What's quite concerning is this is the open interest, which basically says it kind of basically reflects the demand for Ethereum perpetuals, that is futures contract. This demand is very crucial. Why? Because this demand, kind of keeps the market demand for Ethereum as well as the market dynamics very well healthy, as long as this demand is there. But this demand looks like it is going to, at some point, it will reach there, probably during the merge, not the merge, actually the EAP 484 for upgrade, the surge. Probably Ethereum is going to reach here during the surge, and then it's kind of going to come down here, and not just come down, but collapse altogether. The concerning part is that if this collapses, we're probably going to see Ethereum under $800.
Okay.
This is not kind of being doom posting on Ethereum, but this is how the technicals look like. So we have to see how this plays out. Of course, we have to see how the surge up next upgrade surge upgrade plays out and where we are. But right now, I am kind of certain that this is kind of happening. There are two reasons for me to tell this. Earlier in our videos, we used to discuss Ethereum BTC. I used to tell that Ethereum BTC will somehow hold, but now there's confirmation that Ethereum BTC has collapsed.
Okay.
This is Ethereum BTC. It is right now one of the most important charts that I'm watching now. Right now, it has lost its major support here, somewhere here. So, and it is going right now for a retest. It will probably retest, in my opinion, not even go there. It will probably retest here somewhere. And this collapse puts Ethereum at the next support level, probably here around the 0.04 region.
Right.
So, which means Ethereum is going to, underperform against BTC and by a wide margin. Now, what is quite concerning for me is that we discussed in the BTC, Bitcoin has stopped. That is, Bitcoin has stopped and is going to, come down. And this Ethereum has collapsed against Bitcoin. Ethereum is actually, if Bitcoin crashes, Ethereum is going to crash a lot more.
Even more. Yeah. Okay.
This is the cause for concern. It is kind of reflected in the open interest also. But what is more important is that if Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin, so Bitcoin right now is actually very, 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 persistent in filling the CME gaps. CME gaps, you heard, no, sir?
No, could you repeat? I mean, explain that.
CME actually.
I think you mentioned it before, but I don't recollect.
Yes. Actually, Bitcoin futures is Bitcoin futures is listed Bitcoin futures listed on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Mercantile Exchange. Yeah. We have a spot ETF now. The futures ETF was filed in 2018, I guess, and it was approved. And after approval, it went on for trading in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is called the CME. Now, there are two things to be concerned. The way that Bitcoin has pumped here, and this is CME gap. There will be gaps in CME in the CME. Basically, what those gaps mean is, this here is a gap, sir. I'll tell you why. Because it operates only on weekdays or not on weekends. Saturday and Sunday it doesn't operate. So obviously, but Bitcoin is moving for 7 days. Correct. So obviously, the closing price on Friday and the opening price on Monday will be differing, right?
Right.
Because the exchange doesn't work on weekends.
Right.
So obviously, this is the reason why we do not have that much fluctuations during weekends.
Okay.
But still, there will be a gap. For example, Bitcoin on Friday, that is 6th May of 2022, Bitcoin closed at 35,925. You can see here, actually, the closing price at the top. And on Monday, it opened at this point. I'll draw the lines. It will be easier to actually. So this is basically the gap, sir. This. Get it, sir? This is the gap, actually. So this is the gap. And it seems the way Bitcoin has, despite low demand, despite all this, if Bitcoin has come to this part and filled the CME gap here, there is basically no reason to why Bitcoin fills the CME gap. There's no technical reason behind it. It's just that it happens. The probability of it happening is a lot more because it is happening. If you ask me why those gaps get filled, there's no rational logic behind that. It's just getting filled. Whenever there's a CME gap, the price gets filled, and wherever it is. So this is for no reason. It just happened. It's kind of from a statistical point of view, it is happening. That's all. If anyone tells you, no, it is happening for a reason. No, there is no reason. Right. It just happens. Those gaps just gets filled for no reason. Okay. So now this was the gap that was there actually. 36K gap was the gap above 20K, above 30K. This was the only gap. There are no gaps, CME gaps available above. Okay. So the way this has filled, it makes me wonder whether there is one more gap. There is a gap actually at 20K that was created this year. You could see this gap here, no, sir?
Yeah.
So it's created in the March of 2023.
All right.
So in my opinion, this gap also gets filled.
Okay, so what does that mean actually?
For example, and Ethereum collapses to 0.04, that puts Ethereum at a price of $800.
Oh, I see. Right. Well, to be honest, you have been telling us that Ethereum could get down to that level, 800-ish.
Yes. Yes.
But
The
yeah.
thing is, we cannot exactly pinpoint when it will happen.
Of course.
But in my opinion, right now, actually, I am planning to open a short position like this week on Ethereum. The reason for that is, I'll tell you. Honestly, Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum. There's no doubt in that. The recent pump that has happened, Bitcoin has actually outperformed this thing. If you look at Ethereum, though, nothing has happened. It's still kind of, wavering around this area.
Right. There's a little
It has
jump,
not.
but that's it.
It has not kind of pushed through the bear market resistance. What is key here is what I'm going to show next. The 100-week moving average. If you look at the 100-week moving average, what has happened is after crash of the 2018 crash, or 2018 crash actually, Ethereum rallied, went to this part, got rejected by the 100-week EMA, came down again, tried to reclaim it, got rejected again, and then crashed a lot more. And then after that, in 2020, it reclaimed somehow, and after reclaiming, the bull market started. So right now, we are in a crucial juncture. Ethereum broke down here. Oh,
I see.
And now it is going for a retest.
Okay.
If somehow magically this closes above for persistently means like or 1 or 2 weeks, then we can be assured that we are in a bull market indeed.
So that is the short sign.
Yeah, that is a short sign. But if you are getting rejected from here and then close 2 weeks later we are going down, then it can be guaranteed that we are going to come down to 800 levels.
Yeah, but I have a doubt here. So imagine the first scenario plays out and then it gives like 1 or 2 weeks above the moving average. But before you said the Bitcoin price is going to probably go down because of the narrative playing down.
Precisely.
So can these two things happen? What are the chances?
Sir, Ethereum outperforms BTC right now. There is no narrative for that.
Right.
It is actually the reason why I'm saying Ethereum is going to collapse is for obvious reasons. Like it's not just these factors that I'm discussing. There are even more factors like OBV is confirming that OBV has lost the trend.
But that, I see. But that will not happen, is what you're saying. The probability of that happening is very, very.
I think the price has not lost. Which means OBV is leading indicator basically. It's a leading indicator. It tells you like this is going to happen, and of course it adds its own probabilities. But most of the time OBV plays out, and OBV is one indicator that is used by institutional investors. Because for them, they cannot draw lines on this thing. For them, they look at indicators. And OBV is one of the finest indicators there is. And it has clearly lost the trend, which means for Ethereum to lose the trend, it's a matter of time only.
All right.
All this pump that we are seeing is not, real demand, rather short squeeze demand. People are shorting it here more. And to, get them out of the shorts, it is actually pushing the price up.
Okay.
It is confirmed from other indicators like OBV has lost the trend. In Bitcoin also, OBV is right now at resistance. Above all, there's a macro thing that is going to play out, which I think most are it's being overlooked actually.
Okay.
Right now, like theoretical asker, like one of the yield curves is is inverted, and another yield curve is close to inverted. Sorry, not inverted, disinverted or uninverted. And another curve is also going to get uninverted in the coming months.
Okay.
Which means they'll pull out money from the riskier assets.
Right.
Of course, it'll take its own time out,
Yeah.
But personally, I think by year end, Ethereum would be trading below 1,400 in my opinion.
Okay. And it could go further down as well. So
further down. I'm being conservative here actually.
Right.
I'm being conservative here actually.
So you said year end, so yeah, it doesn't mean
The narrative for Ethereum is right now EIP 4844 upgrade. which you don't know how it will pan out. But it has to be seen. That's what.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
And if you look at most of the tokens, sir, most of the token, not just Ethereum. I'm saying Ethereum will plunge not because Ethereum is bad. All other alt tokens, though they look like they're pumping, they actually lost their support against BTC. Any token you can tell me, there are only few tokens that are holding against BTC. Only those tokens probably will outperform. If you take BNB,
okay, interesting.
It has lost against. It has been holding it has been holding a line for almost 2 years, and it has been lost. Yes, look at this. Now, approximately this is the line that it was holding up for last 2 years. Nothing has happened from 2021 April till this time September. This line was holding up, but look at what happened last month. Now the question is, if BTC sneezes once, BNB and probably other alt tokens are going to sneeze twice, thrice.
Correct.
That is why dump.
Correct.
And if BTC is going to, in case magically pump from here, these are not going to pump.
Beyond a certain limit,
yeah. They're going to pump even lot lower order. But personally, BTC has stopped. I am very confident in that part. Two things actually. See, for me, like a trader, we look at 2 points. We took at 3 points where the risk to reward ratio, risk to reward is very high. One risk to reward that was very high was at the 28K, where I shot, my first shot was there. It didn't work out, of course. But the second shot is right now at 36K. I'd never opened any shot at 30K or 32K because I felt it was something different. And that is why I waited. In fact, if you look at my X account, you'll see I was actually longing a lot of altcoins this entire week, last 10 days. And I've been quite successful because what these altcoins are right now doing is putting in a high time frame retest. By high time frame retest means, they lost a structure at the higher time frames, say 6 months, 3 months. Now, the only way to go down again is to retest those levels and then crash even a lot.
Okay. Right.
BNB is one classic example where if you look at this month, what is actually doing it is going for retest. Once it probably touches this line, it will come back again. The same month, this will come back again and probably find support here.
Lower. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. There's nothing. There's only air here. It will only find support here. And it can all happen in the next 2 months.
Right. Okay. So in a nutshell, BTC might give a little more rise, but eventually it is going to come down.
Yes.
And it'll bring not only Ethereum, and it'll bring the other altcoins down as well.
The altcoins, yes.
Which is how it usually works out also. So just last question, how does the halving play into this entire situation then? So will the drawdown continue after the halving as well, or halving will be an event where it will actually pump up?
Sir, my personal take is because there are a lot of narratives before the halving. I don't know how each of these narratives, but if you take my take, I personally believe that halving will be a non-event only.
I have a feeling of that also, because sometimes there's no rationale behind it, but just by little experience, when people talk about something very
exactly
much, that really doesn't play out to that degree.
Exactly.
Okay.
From what I have seen what I've seen. Either you are front run by 2 to 3 months, and none of the events actually turn out to be a real this thing, a propeller. So this is what I've seen, and I think halving also will be mostly that only. I'm pretty sure after the halving, we are probably going to have a huge crash, another huge crash in sense to dissuade weekends. And then the real bull run starts, which is Q2 of 2024. Not Q2, sorry, H2. The second half of 2024 is when the crypto bull run start.
Right. Just like we talked about in the yield curve inversion video.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Right. Perfect. So there's a lot to take away from this, but interesting times ahead. I guess that is all I can put in the nutshell. So if I am to put some money into crypto, I should rather keep it parked. And there is a possibility that there might be some lows coming, which I can take advantage of.
Yes, sir.
Right.
In
All
my
right.
opinion, you can have a lot of patience in this regard because 10x or 50x or whatever x will not come from buying these levels. They can only come at buying at from the lower levels. And I'm pretty sure looking at further, like every data I look at suggest it is actually the structure is very weak only, even for Bitcoin, despite the narrative.
Right.
Only thing is, it's a matter of time to play out. Till then, we will see all this. It will be like, probably stairs up and elevators down case.
Gotcha. All right. So let's wrap it up here, Vicky. Thanks a lot once again for this brilliant insight. I think as and when the narratives, we get closer to these mega swan, black swan, or whatever we want to call it, these events, I think your commentary is only going to be more and more important. So yeah, I mean, I am really interested in seeing what actually happens and how this plays out. So thanks again, Vicky. And thanks a lot. Till next time. Bye-bye.